Bishop Richard, it's a delight to be with you today. Thank you for agreeing to tell us more about the work of EAPPI. Can you tell us, first of all, how you got involved yourself?
Well, after my retirement, I had no particular plans of getting very stuck into Israel and Palestine, but I was asked to do a number of pilgrimages and obviously responded to that. And during one of these pilgrimages, I met a couple of middle-aged women, I think in Hebron, though I've forgotten where, wearing a particular sort of flak jackets or waistcoats with EAPPI on the reverse. And I said, tell me about EAPPI. And they told me what it was all about. And I thought to myself, next time I come out here, I don't want to come out leading a pilgrimage. I'd like to come out and work for EAPPI, Ecumenical Accompaniment Program for Israel and Palestine.
So tell us more about what EAPPI does on the ground.
Right. Well, I'm 10 years out of date because it was about 10 years ago now that I spent 3 months in Bethlehem. But so I can tell you about that time. EAPPI is a program under the World Council of Churches to put internationals into the situation in the occupied territories that may help calm situations that become a bit violent and aggressive. We are, of course, very much unarmed. The only uniform we have is a flak jacket. We've been given EAPPIs from Britain are given very good training by the Quakers, both in London and I think it was Manchester or Birmingham, I've forgotten which. But we were trained very well, told exactly what to do and not to do, and providing one follows their guidelines, life is reasonably safe. For instance, when we went on Friday demonstrations after the Friday prayers, which we did, protesting against closures and things like that. These were Palestinian demonstrations. We were told to stay towards the back. If we ever encountered a soldier, whatever they told us to do it straight away. We don't want any of you arrested. We want to work under the radar. And I do think it helped calm certain situations. In addition to that, of course, 3 months out there in Palestine, and you make some very good Palestinian friends. And that's very important because Palestinians feel that the world has given them up. And to some extent, that is very true. And here we are saying, you're not forgotten, you do matter, we're rooting for you. You spend 3 months there. I spent 3 months in Bethlehem, near checkpoint Gilo, checkpoint 300. Was there at 4 o'clock in the morning because that's about when it opened. And we just stood around seeing what was going on, just making our presence felt. I think now that it's less easy to hang about at the checkpoint than we found it 10 years ago. But as I say, I'm 10 years out of date. I had a marvelous time out there and got to know some Palestinians very well indeed and remain friends with them and go out and see them as often as I can.
How were you treated by Israelis and Palestinians when they realized you were there?
Well, Palestinians are very warm people, lovely people, and treated very well. I remember one leading Palestinian said to me, what I really want to say to you is get the hell out of here because you're no damn good at all. And in a sense, he was right because our presence made zero political long-term difference to the situation. You've been coming here for 10 years or something, he said, and the situation is getting worse all the time. And he was absolutely right. But I mean, even he was perfectly courteous, but you can see why his frustration was vented a bit on me.
What about your own personal safety or the safety of the team? How safe is it?
It's reasonably safe to be in the occupied territories, providing you are sensible. Of course, anything can go wrong, but anything can go wrong when you cross the high street in Canterbury. But providing you're sensible, there is no reason to worry about your safety. And of course, where you're placed and how you're monitored by the organization makes a great deal of difference. So although my wife was a bit anxious about me going out there, I never felt unsafe, not even in demonstrations, though on one demonstration, of course, they have these great big sound bombs that the Israelis fire over, and they are pretty frightening, and tear gas, and I got caught by tear gas on one occasion. But I was at the back of the demonstration, I ran away, wiped my eyes, and I was okay. There was no real threat to my safety, providing you are sensible about what you're doing.
And I believe there's some responsibility you have when you do return from serving the EAPPI.
Absolutely. I didn't really realize this until I already got out there, that half the work is going out there for 3 months. The other half, very important, is to come and give talks in this country to raise awareness. And you're meant to give 15 talks. Well, actually, I was lucky through my contacts. I gave over 50 talks to different organizations and groups of people when I came back. And in those talks, all I did was tell the story of a Palestinian family. I didn't give statistics. I didn't go into all the details. I told the story of what it's like to live under the kind of oppressive occupation under which they do live.
And if folk listening to this conversation are interested to find out more about EAPPI, where should they go?
Well, the easiest way to find out about EAPPI is to type those 5 letters, EAPPI, or is it 6 letters, into Google, and go from there. You find out all about it. It's run in this country by the Quakers, the Society of Friends. And like everything else Society of Friends do, they do it very efficiently, very expertly. We were well looked after, well trained, and sent out with a certain confidence that we knew what we were about and what we were doing.
Bishop Richard, thank you very much for sharing with us more about the work of EAPPI and your own experience. Thank you so much.
Pleasure.